It's this time of the year again. And who doesn't know the question, what should I buy a climber for Christmas? Well, fear not, I've got your back. Today we will discuss free Christmas presents for climbers. Hey guys, welcome to the High Ground. My name is Fabio, and as said, today we will look at free Christmas present ideas for climbers. Now, I don't want to go and tell you to buy a t-shirt or pants or something like aftermarket ice picks because on one hand, I mean, we all have a lot of t-shirts, right? And if you see a very cool one, then by all means buy it. But I mean, it's nothing very special, right? And you didn't have put a lot of thought in it if you just buy a t-shirt. And on the other hand, really stuff like aftermarket ice picks. I mean, I find them great, but they somehow change the way that you're climbing. And the same is true, for example, for climbing boots, right? Or quick draws. So unless the climber has a specific wish, what he or she wants to have, then I would not recommend to buy something like that because it will actually alter the style a person climbs in. And that is something that should be up to the climber. But with our Christmas ideas, you will be on spot, you will give them something that is very helpful and also something not a lot of people already thought about. So it's unlikely that two people give the same. The first idea I want to introduce you to is this. It's a little package. It's my emergency package that I bring on all climbs in different variants, but we will talk about that. It basically includes a full rated carabiner, a small knife, 6 meters, 80 feet of cord. And this is something very special if you want to actually tread ice screw holes and build an anchor in ice. We will get to that as well. Let's look at the pieces in detail. The fully rated carabiner, I mean, it's always good to have another one. Don't give them those gear carabiners that are only meant to clip gear to them. They're a waste of weight that people have to carry, and they are prone to accidents if people accidentally use them to clip into them. So that's not a good idea. Use real carabiners. Then we have a little knife. That's a Petzl one. And this knife has a serrated blade and it's especially meant to cut rope. And regardless if you want to cut a cord like that or you need to actually cut a climbing rope, if you need to cut it and you don't have anything to cut it, then that's a very bad situation. It is really hard to get through a climbing rope with something that is not meant for cutting, especially for cutting rope. The next thing on here is just a piece of static cord. And that cord leads us to the actual purpose of this set. So you have a lot of different applications. Just the cord can be used if you're out climbing and you have to actually rescue your climbing partner, right? You need to get him or her on your back and rappel down with him. You need to improvise a pulley system to pull them up somewhere because something happened to them. So for rescuing your climbing partner, this is something very useful. You can also use it more in a mountaineering area when you have to rappel down somewhere where you don't have an anchor. The problem is whenever you rappel down something and you don't have an anchor, you need to leave a piece of gear. And if you have a lot of slings, and this piece of rope gives you a lot of slings, right? I mean, if we have 6 meters, and let's say you need half a meter, 2 feet of rope, then you will get down a lot of rappels, maybe 12, right? So you can actually emergency rappel off those slings. Generally, I don't need that cord for that, but in a real emergency, if I'm really not prepared, I could also use that to build a more complex belay. For example, if I'm tread climbing and I'm putting in camelot here, a camming device, a nut here, maybe a piton down there, and I have to somehow connect them, and I have nothing with me that is long enough, then I can also use this one. And then lastly, for ice climbing, you can use it to build anchors. And that's basically done. You drill 2 holes, one with an ice screw here and another hole with the same ice screw here. Those holes meet, and then you thread the cord through it. Boom, there is your anchor. Holds, yeah, it's bomber, and yeah, but you have to leave again behind a piece of cord, and this is also what I use this cord for. The last part of this set is this one, and this is used to actually thread through the cordage in ice, as I just explained it to you. And that also means that this is not a typical part of the gift for a rock climber, but as soon as somebody is going into ice climbing or mountaineering, it's good to have something like that. And it's basically a piece of steel, right? And it has a very sharp hook at the end. And this hook is protected by this cap. You can just pull it over it, and then it's closed, and you put it on your climbing harness and have it with you. Yeah, and this is why this emergency set is my #1 recommendation for presents for the climber in your life. #2 is something that you can actually buy like that. The emergency set, you have to buy the parts and put them together. This is a Kong. It's a special quick draw, and for one, it is stiff, so it actually extends your reach. And it has this special buckle here that you can put under tension, and as soon as you hit something with the middle, it closes. We always call it panic quick draw because a lot of climbers use it when they panic on a route and they're shortly below a quick draw. I actually bought this for my wife, but especially in more difficult alpine routes that have some bolts, I occasionally also used it. So yeah, a really nice present, and you don't have a lot of, well, effort with that one. You can just buy it. And the third thing I would recommend as a Christmas present for climbers, and especially for mountaineers, here we're a little bit away from pure rock climbing, is the Petzl Crevasse Rescue set. It comes in a set with 2 carabiners. It has 2 of those slings with it. It has a little micro traction. I will show it to you. It has a simple pulley, and it has a T-block. Let's go through the parts. First, we have the micro traction. And the micro traction is a pulley that has a cam here that basically makes it a progress capture device. So you can pull rope through in one direction, but it's not running back in the other direction. Very useful to build pulleys. If you're interested in that one, I have a full video about building pulleys and pulley system. I'll link that below. And yeah, that's the first part of the Petzl Crevasse Rescue system. The next one is another pulley. This is not a progress capture pulley, it's an ordinary pulley, and this is meant as a redirect to really improve the mechanical advantage that you get out of the pulley that you're building. This is actually also one that I generally don't bring for my climbs. I really only bring the micro traction and the T-block. So if you want to save a little bit of money and not buy the whole set, then you can also just buy micro traction, a T-block, and the carabiners and slings we're looking at. Now, the T-block is a camming device, and I explained the actual application also in my pulley video, so I don't want to go too deep into that right now. But it's a camming device that basically allows you to put a carabiner into it, and then it holds onto the rope and doesn't slide down. It's also meant to be used for pulleys, and I found that very, very helpful. Then Petzl includes 2 of those carabiners. If you're going out and buy carabiners separately and not in a set, then make sure that you have these type of carabiners because they work exceptionally well with pulleys. They work far better than the standard carabiners that are more formed like a pier. So yeah, two of them. And the last thing that you will need are slings. And that's something like that. Since it will not be something that is used very often, I would go with a Dyneema, just something lightweight. Take the 120 centimeter, the 4 feet sling, and then you will be good. This whole crevasse rescue set together is really, really neat because you can just clip it to your harness, and whenever you're out on a glacier, you know that you have everything with you. And should the climber that you want to give a gift to be a little bit more experienced, I am sure that he or she will also appreciate that he receives a microtraction and a T-block, because that one can be used for a lot of other stuff. Yeah, and that's already it for today. My 3 recommendations for Christmas gifts for climbers. If you like them, please give me a thumbs up, follow the channel. Let me know in the comments what you as a climber would wish for Christmas. And I appreciate your time watching this video, and I'll see you next time.